Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, North Parkers and beyond. Today's weekly word is coming to us from the book of Galatians, chapter 6, and I'm going to be reading verses 1 through 6. It says, "Brothers and sisters, if someone is caught in a sin, you who live by the Spirit should restore that person gently. But watch yourselves, or you also may be tempted. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. If anyone thinks they are something when they are not, they deceive themselves. Each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone without comparing themselves to someone else. For each one should carry their own load. Nevertheless, the one who receives instruction in the word should share all good things with their instructor." So there's several things here to be spoken of, but the first thing that I really want to focus in on is the issue of pride and humility. They are quite often seen as opposites. To be prideful is the opposite of being humble. To take pride in something seems to be the opposite, to be humble about it. And yet here is that middle road in which we're supposed to live, where pride is not necessarily a bad thing. So normally when you speak of pride, especially in the Christian scriptures, we're talking about hubris, pride, where you are elevating yourself above your rightful station. You are thinking of yourself more highly than you ought. But this is different here. Here it says that each one should test their own actions, then they can take pride in themselves alone without comparing themselves to someone else. For each one should carry their own load. So long as you're not comparing yourself to other people and taking pride in being better than them, so long as you're not comparing yourself and imagining yourself to be better than other people or to elevate yourself above ultimately the station of God himself and being prideful in that way or manner, you can take pride in what you have done. In fact, there's a phrase that we use quite frequently. It's called to take pride in your work. And we know that that's not a bad thing. It's interesting how we use different words in different ways, and we know the connotations that are implied. So you're not supposed to be a judgmental person, but you're supposed to exercise good judgment. So, some ways that we use our words, there is more being expressed by the combination of words than by the unique individual words themselves. And I believe this is the case in that phrase, take pride in your work. Now, what's important in that phrase is that you're supposed to be intentional about doing the quality work that you're capable of doing in your work. Not take pride in your work as being better than your neighbor's work. Now, there's a secondary aspect to this, because what it's indicating is that your load is yours alone to carry, and how you carry it is up to you. And so you're supposed to be managing your load and take pride in how you do so. The word also tells us that no man is given temptation that is greater than they can withstand, or that a way of escape is given to them. Now, it doesn't say that no other person is suffering under a load that you yourself could not stand under. This is part of the beneficence of God himself, who is sovereign and in control and doles out the loads to the people that can handle them. So just because you're dealing with your life well doesn't mean that you are better than the person who's struggling with theirs. They very well may have a load you would do even worse with. So take pride in the work that you do. Do your work with pride. Do not elevate yourself above your neighbor, and do not certainly elevate yourself above God himself. So pride is not necessarily a bad thing. And it's not necessarily the opposite of humility. Because if you focus on the load you've been tasked to carry, you know that you are capable of carrying it under the auspices of the Holy Spirit's help. And so you can take pride in carrying it while yet being humble about the fact that you should be able to carry it. For the God who knows all things in the universe and knows us doles out the loads to be carried. Take pride in your work. Be proud of the job that you do, and do your job in such a way you can be proud of it. But don't allow that pride to run amok and begin to look down on those around you. You know not the load they carry. I hope this is a helpful word to you, and my prayer is that our great God and King would bless you and keep you, that he would be gracious unto you, that he would cause his face to shine upon you, that you would be both blessed and a blessing. Thank you, and good morning, good afternoon, or good night.